Welcome to another Tag Team Talent Search podcast, the podcast that focuses on talent from around the world. And here's the guy that's produced live and television entertainment for the last 40 years, and he's gonna be the host of the show, for goodness sakes. Here he is, Scott Edwards.
Hey, welcome back to the podcast Tag Team Talent Podcast, where we celebrate the variety arts, and we're so happy you're joining us today. We have 3 videos to share with you, and helping me out is my co-host, Bentoni. Bentoni is a professional comic. He toured for many years, about 12 or 15, right?
Yeah.
And he is a professional photographer, right?
Yes, I am.
You're working for the Kings?
Shoot the Sacramento Kings home games for Associated Press.
The Associated Press, everybody. Ooh. Anyway, Bentoni is a professional...
They're associated.
He's a professional entertainer, and I asked him to be a co-host so he can tell us what and share these videos with you.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you for joining us. We have 3 great videos. And starting things off is a good friend of mine. He's a professional comic ventriloquist. He is a huge star in Australia. In fact, the video he sent us is from his final farewell tour of Australia just a few months ago. He's now totally retired. His name's David Strassman. You've seen him before on this podcast because he's really talented, and he was so kind and generous to share his videos with us from his final tour of Australia. Now, also, just a side note, he's into paleontology. He's into dinosaurs. He has his own podcast called Paleo Nerds. And if you're interested in that, it's very funny, but also very informative.
What else would they be?
Yeah, Paleo Nerds, and you can find it on the Standup Comedy Podcast Network. So if you're interested in that, go check out his podcast. But here, he's going to share some of his ventriloquism. You ready?
I am ready.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, our first video starring David Strassman. Here we go.
Well, I ought to stick you in a trunk and lock the key for 100 years. I don't give a shit as long as there's Lithi. You've ruined my show. Good. What? Oh, that means nothing to you? Not really, because I had the little announcement. This is the last night I'm working with you. What, are you leaving? No, you're sacked, dickhead. You can't sack me. I just did. I want to go on the road without you. I want to travel. I want to see exotic locations like Kalgoorlie. You're not going anywhere without me. Why not? Because you're a stinking, ungrateful little puppet. Ooh. So, who's going to work you? Huh? Who's going to pull your strings if I'm not here? I was looking at her. Afraid of splinters, sweetheart? And I was looking at him. Want to be my boy toy? Are you into wood, chalk? See, folks, I do go both ways as long as I get to come first.
Oh.
Your attitude and everything has ruined my show. So what? What do you mean, so what? You don't get it, Nan. Get what? I don't need you, Strazzo. What are you saying? Watch my lips. I don't need you, Strazzo. Fine, Chuck. You want to be the big star? I'll tell you what. You can go sit here all by yourself. You can tell a joke without me. How about that? I'm going to have you sit here. I'll pull my hand out right now. And look, you're ceasing to work. Come on. We're waiting.
That's puppet abuse.
Real funny now, huh? Come on, let's go. Here's your audience. Tell a joke. No, I'm sick of this shit from him. You can pick up your shit in the driveway.
How appropriate.
Is he gone? All right, yeah. Woo-hoo! Hey, folks, it's great to be here all alone. And guess what? I do impressions of famous entertainers from TV or movies. You yell them out. I'll do them any bloody at all.
Arnold Schwarzenegger!
Sir, we don't use racial slurs. Here's my impression. with a bunch of idiots yelling at a stick of wood on a stage. Yeah, who's the dummies now?
And he is so funny and talented as a ventriloquist. But I remember that bit when he was first developing it with the robotic Chuck. Chuck Wood is his puppet. And he would do that live on stage at the club. This is back in the 80s, before he was big and famous around the world and in Australia. And when when Chuck Wood would come to life without him, it freaked people out, because this is way before common, electronic controls. He was one of the first.
That is funny, and I was thinking when he first left the Chuck sitting there by himself, thinking how odd it was that I still considered him a sentient being, right?
Well, when a ventriloquist and his ventriloquial figure do so well that you end up talking to or expecting something from the puppet, and then in David's case, he makes it happen. It's amazing. Yeah. Anyway, that video was from his recent final tour, and we're so happy that Dave allows us to share that with you, our audience. Hey, but we have some more. You're a professional stand-up comic, so I arranged for a local comic to send us a video. This young man is out of the Sacramento, Northern California area. I worked with him recently at a Reno fundraiser for charity in the library system up there. He's a magician, but also a terrific stand-up comic. Ladies and gentlemen, here's a video of Roman Spinale live on stage.
I'm really just trying to work out because I'm single now. That's a big thing. It's all superficial. I'm just trying to look good because I'm trying to get out there, maybe meet someone. In fact, this afternoon I went to the mall, a great place to meet women. I was walking around. I went into the Lego store. Yeah. Not a great place to meet women, unless you're looking for someone made of plastic who's this small. Yeah, it's an interesting place we have, an interesting society we live in, isn't it? We claim to care about the environment and saving the oceans, yet we have one store that sells nothing but tiny pieces of plastic, the perfect size for choking a sea turtle. It's a real paradox, I think you'd agree. But I was in the Lego store. I realized my favorite part of the Lego store is that all the employees have to wear these yellow aprons, which I think is good. Thank God they have the aprons, because how else would you get all that Lego out of your shirt? It's a real problem. Oh my God, not again. I wondered about this. Why the aprons? What are they doing in there? Are they baking them fresh in-house like it's the Cheesecake Factory? What's happening? Like, hey kids, don't touch those blues. They're hot out of the oven. You can touch the greens, but make sure you first put on your apron. It's a big problem. I watched the Lego movie recently. I was not a fan. I don't know why. I think it's because I never cared about Legos growing up. I preferred other toys, which is the reason I'm still holding out for a Lincoln Logs movie. I think that's going to be good. Weren't those the best toy? They had everything, a metal tin, pieces of wood, the name of our first assassinated president. What else could a child want for Christmas? But it's funny. I never really cared about toys that much as a kid. Because I had other hobbies. I think that's really what it comes down to. As a kid, I had other things I liked. Like I was into music, and I loved playing the piano. I was into magic, in fact. That was my favorite thing. I loved learning magic tricks. And my goal was actually to grow up one day to become a magician. It's true. And it kind of worked out because it's still a hobby, and occasionally I'll even get hired to perform magic at parties or restaurants or wedding receptions, weirdly enough, which weddings are weird. You'd think the groom wouldn't want that kind of competition, yet, there I am. If anyone has any reason, you may object. I think she might. I don't know. She saw my act. It was her card. I don't know. You have to rethink this whole thing. But I love it. But the funny thing about magic I've learned is that it's not like other things. It's not like comedy. Because with comedy, you can just spontaneously walk up to a group of people, make a joke, everyone likes it. You can't do that with magic. You can't just walk up to a group and unannounced start doing magic at them without a warning. They won't have fun. It will scare them. They will be scared. For example, if I just walked up to you, for example, and let's say I had my bottle, right? And we're talking, and all of a sudden, spontaneously, I'm saying we're just looking at the bottle, and then all of a sudden, for some reason, I just start to sort of let go. Yeah. weren't enjoying that though? Did you see that? See how that was not fun? It wasn't so much wow. It was more like why? What is happening right now? Because I didn't warn you. I didn't ask your consent to perform magic on you. I just did it. And the problem is when you do that to people, it screws with their whole sense of reality. Because now you're going to be thinking, wait a minute, was that bottle the whole time? They switched the tea halfway through? Were there magnets or wires? And then tomorrow morning over breakfast, you're going to be going, oh my God, it's so much worse. Because that's when you realize there was no tea. In fact, there was no bottle because all along it was just a single piece of paper. And with that, enjoy the rest of your lives. My name's Roman Spinale. Good night.
Ladies and gentlemen, live on stage. Wow. What'd you think of that? We got a little bit of comedy and magic in one video.
I'm a huge Roman Spinale fan all of a sudden. I really like this kid. He's funny and
yeah, and he's relaxed on stage. But what I like that stand-up comic, of course, is a producer. I always like guys that had multiple talents. So here you are, he's doing a little stand-up comedy, and boom, he slips in a magic trick. It gives the audience not only some great entertainment, but something video to go with the patter of his comedy.
he put on a show.
Well, very well said. Ladies and gentlemen, that comes from Bentoni, a professional entertainer. He put on a show. Hey! Well, ladies and gentlemen, we hope you're enjoying these videos. We have one last one. Do you know what time it is? It's time for Classic Rewind. This is where we take videos of entertainers that I worked with back in the 80s and 90s. As I've mentioned a few times, we've had TV shows, concerts, and thousands of stage shows. And this gentleman is one of my favorites. You remember him, Bruce Baby Man Baum.
Oh, the
Bruce,
Baby Man.
Bruce Baum was one of the funniest prop comics. He did music. He actually had Marty Feldmanize, a song he wrote, go on the charts and do very well.
I remember that.
Marty Feldmanize, if you want to Google it. But Bruce Baum.
Google. Okay.
The Googler, yes. And Bruce Baum is very funny. So let's find out why. This video is this week's Classic Rewind. Here we go.
I'm driving on one of these interstates a couple of days ago with a couple of friends, and it's kind of late at night, and we decide to ourselves, hey! That's all we decide, and keep driving. A little bit farther down the road, we realize, gee, we're kind of tired. Let's pull in one of these rest areas. We'll crash out for a while. We pull into the next rest area. The driver falls asleep just like that. The other two of us can't crash out. So while the driver's sleeping, one of us gets out of the car, and as he heaves himself onto the hood, the other guy wakes up the driver going, look out! It was about 2 hours getting the mess up the seat, his head was stuck in the roof, his ankles down. I made a terrible mistake today. I really confused my chameleon lizard. I accidentally put him on a plaid shirt and he exploded. Has anybody here ever eaten boneless chicken? You ever see those things when they're alive? It's just kind of... And aren't you glad things are the way they are? Aren't you glad milk comes in plastic containers so you don't have to suck it out of cows? I don't like spiders. When I find a spider, I like to light a match, put the flame right up to its rear end and watch all 8 hands go, yeah! I figured out a way to kill cockroaches without having to use insecticides. You know, they die when they're on their back. They can't flip over. So instead of using pesticides, if you just take little tiny banana peels, and the ones that don't slip, you step on them while they're laughing. I like to get my dog real drunk. throw him inside a bar, then wait outside and laugh at the girl he picks up. But you guys hate it when you go to a friend's house and they've got a cat, and the cat goes to the bathroom in the litter box, and then comes over, wipes its butt on your leg? And how come some animals are so agile and others aren't? It's like a dog can jump 6 feet in the air, catch a frisbee in its mouth, not chip a tooth. A cat can fall 3 stories, land on its feet, no injuries. But push a giraffe out of a helicopter.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was Bruce Baum live on stage back in the 80s. Funny stuff.
Very funny, yeah.
You know, Bruce was one of a kind. He was known as a prop comic. In this video, he's doing pretty much just jokes, but they're so visual. You know,
Yeah.
everything he's saying is so ridiculous, and yet you picture the cockroaches and the little tiny banana peels, right? Oh, man.
I imagined full-size banana peels.
Bentoni's a little different. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, that was our 3 videos this week on the Tag Team Talent Podcast. If you enjoyed yourself, be sure to subscribe, like, share, and if you comment and let us know your favorite video, we'll be tabulating the numbers and share them later. Bentoni, you are our co-host this week.
Thank you.
We appreciate you being here
I was happy to
and
be
sharing these videos with us. I know that you're retired pretty much from comedy, but you're still shooting pictures for the AP, for the Kings, and
Yes.
a professional photographer, as we've mentioned. But you took the time and with all the money you made in comedy and came and joined us.
Well, I can afford it now.
Ladies
now
and-
that I'm done.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us on the Tag Team Talent Podcast. We'll be back next week with some more great shows. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Thanks for watching the Tag Team Talent Search Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you'll never miss the next big talent reveal. And don't forget to write in the comments below which performer you thought was best in this episode. We love hearing from you. See you soon!